Viewers, post your location and the time on your clock right now because what you're about to hear may make you want to check that your backyard is still yours. Jack Howren's truck crunches up his gravel drive after 3 weeks in Vermont, expecting sunsets over Mirror Lake and maybe a cold beer. Instead, he finds a yellow slip taped to his cabin door, the kind you get when the mail carrier can't deliver something important. Only this one says Lakeview Shores HOA in big bold letters, and Jack's not even in their HOA. He made sure of that when he bought the place. Inside his mailbox, between grocery flyers and bills, there's an urgent violation notice with photos of a mysterious sauna supposedly built on his land. It comes with a $2 $500 fine plus $500 a week until removed. The photos look like they were taken with a potato from 3 football fields away. He hasn't built so much as a birdhouse lately, but here's a legal-looking document ready to shame him into compliance. No one answers at the HOA office, just Karen Bridgewater's perfectly crisp voicemail telling him to submit inquiries in writing. So Jack hikes down to the far edge of his property. The pines thin out, and that's when he spots fresh survey stakes, deep tire ruts, and something gleaming through the trees. What emerges looks like a capitalist mushroom after a rainstorm, a 40 by 60 foot metal warehouse razor wire around it, cameras on poles, even a keypad lock, and a big sign, Lakeview Storage Property of Lakeview Shores HOA. Through a gap in the siding, he spots rows of stored boat motors, riding mowers, and construction equipment, rented out spaces with painted numbers. The kicker: it's 50 feet inside his property line. County records say the permit was issued to John Halverson 3 months ago. Historians still argue whether Karen picked that name from a phone book or a soap opera. But Jack's certain it's a forgery. And his Army Corps training kicks in survey gear, GPS photos, every detail logged. At 2 p.m., Karen arrives in a white Cadillac with her clipboard brigade. Jack records everything as she tries to sell him on the idea that just holding title doesn't mean he can't support the greater good. She slides him a $5,000 perpetual easement offer like it's a winning lottery ticket. He smiles, pockets the paper, and knows exactly who he's calling next, a land dispute attorney who loves a good clipboard takedown. Gloria Campbell listens to Jack's recording over speakerphone, one eyebrow arched so high it could qualify as scaffolding. Criminal trespass, fraud, conspiracy, pick your favorite, she says, already drafting document requests. Meanwhile, Jack brings in Mike Stone, a private investigator with a reputation for following money trails like a bloodhound on espresso. The first crack appears when Jack calls the contractor listed on the county permits, David Morrison. David nearly drops the phone. She told me you were out of town and approved it through your property manager. Had permit surveys looked official. He even has a contract signed by John Halverson, complete with a passable imitation of Jack's name. The $85,000 construction bill paid in full from the HOA's account. Karen had called it a community development fund. Mike's digging shows she formed Lakeshore Storage Solutions, LLC, a week before construction. Rental fees, about $12,000 so far, are flowing into her personal account. Better yet, HOA residents think they're paying for a sanctioned storage amenity, while several local businesses are paying Karen directly. Historians still argue whether greed makes people sloppy or overconfident, but Karen's bookkeeping suggests both. Then comes the bombshell. Karen's buddy in the county building department. Derek Fisher has been rubber stamping her permits for years in exchange for consulting fees funneled through his wife's fake landscaping company. Suddenly, the mystery of the miracle approvals vanishes. Gloria files for an emergency injunction. A judge freezes all warehouse activity and orders Karen to stop accessing the property. That's when the gloves come off. Jack starts getting anonymous calls warning him to drop it. Karen circulates a petition painting him as an unhinged hermit out to tank property values. 47 signatures appear, most folks not realizing they've just endorsed fraud. But the intimidation backfires. Security footage catches midnight visitors poking at the warehouse locks. License plate searches confirm contractors and business owners are still coming and going, paying $200 a month straight to Karen. And then Jack finds the cherry on top. The warehouse's power is spliced into his meter. He's been paying for Karen's climate-controlled empire. When a sheriff's deputy arrives to inspect, Karen shows up too, only to be told, "Ma'am, you're looking at theft of services, fraud, and probably a few other charges I haven't thought of yet." That's when Jack knows this isn't just about reclaiming his land. This is about detonating Karen's whole little fiefdom in front of the people she's been milking for years. And the fuse is already lit. The HOA meeting is standing room only. Jack walks in with Gloria, Mike, and a stack of evidence thicker than a Maine winter coat. Richard Temple and Susan Norris, the clipboard backup singers from that Cadillac showdown, sit in the front row, suddenly looking like they've misplaced the plot. Jack starts with the numbers $85,000 in HOA funds for the warehouse, $12,000 in rental fees, plus thousands skimmed from community improvements that were little more than gravel dumps and DIY dock repairs. Mike projects the bank records onto a screen, money flowing neatly from HOA dues into Karen's LLC. David Morrison, the contractor, takes the mic and describes the forged contracts. The crowd's murmur turns into open outrage. Karen tries one last Hail Mary, accusing Jack of being a disgruntled non-member bent on sabotage. But when Derek Fisher, arrested just days earlier, testifies that Karen paid him to expedite forged permits, the room goes dead quiet. Even Richard leans back like the air's been sucked out of the place. The board votes unanimously to remove her as president and hand everything to the district attorney. The trial is brisk. A handwriting expert dismantles the John Halverson signature. Mike's charts show the steady siphon of dues. Derek's plea deal seals the narrative. Karen knew exactly what she was doing, and she knew it was illegal. Her composure shatters under Gloria's cross-examination, ranting about ungrateful neighbors until the judge threatens contempt. 4 hours of jury deliberation later, guilty on all counts. 8 years in federal prison restitution to Jack and the HOA, and a permanent end to her HOA career. Derek gets 3 years and a ban from government work. The county implements new permit verification procedures they openly nickname the Bridgewater Rule. 3 months later, the warehouse is gone. Jack uses part of the $250,000 settlement to build a cedar gazebo exactly where it stood, comfortable chairs, lake view, and a plaque reading, "Friends, welcome." HOA employees, not so much. Tom and Betty Morrison drop by most evenings with fish stories and cold drinks. And in the slow summer dusk, Jack sometimes gets calls from strangers in other states, all asking how to fight their own clipboard tyrants. His answer is always the same document: everything hire someone who can follow the money and let a bully's rope get just long enough. The lake at sunset reflects a sky painted in gold and lavender, and the air smells faintly of cedar and grilled fish. Voices carry softly from the dock, laughter, threading with the quiet lap of water. Justice has a way of settling into the landscape here, slow, steady, and visible if you know where to look. The gazebo's shadow stretches toward the shore, and Jack leans back in his chair, letting the peace seep in. Somewhere far away, Karen is staring at cinder block walls, replaying the moment she thought she could take what wasn't hers. Here the only walls are the tree line, and they keep nothing in but the calm.